On player one side, playing Nuru, we have Saikoya against the challenger, who is one game away from being knocked out 6th place. It is Spotyus. Vesper.
What are the differences in prizes for third and for 5th and 6th place?
That's a good question because it changed recently. I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick look at that.
Take a gander. We'll be here.
Because it was a fairly minimal amount of money before, and now it's. So I believe before it was $45 and $5, and now it's $75 and $50. So
Okay. That's minimally less minimal.
But you know, like $75 is a decent amount of money. Like
It is. Okay, yeah, it's true. Can buy you a good PC game.
yeah, I mean you could buy an entire PlayStation 5 game for $75.
Potentially more if you get them on sale.
Maybe I don't know if you're gonna see a PS5 game on sale anytime soon, but
Oh, I guess sale applies more to Steam games.
right.
Anyway, Spotyus chooses an interesting opening here. He's not healing Vesper like we would normally see, but he's like captured. We actually saw Sneaky Dragon do this as well in his game against Shu on this map, which was a Twins versus Dark Mercia matchup. But in this case, it looks like, but in that case, it was Sneaky said it was a mistake, so misclick.
Right.
So I wonder if this is a part of Spotyus' plan or it was also a misclick. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Also, their capture orders are different. Spotyus went for this like side village that Saikoya did not go for. Actually, maybe that's part of the reasoning. Like, because Saikoya didn't go for the side village, so there's less benefit to capturing or less benefit to healing up early, which is why Spotyus decided not to heal and instead grab like an earlier village on this side.
Yeah, Saikoya is basically saying you can take those 2 villages that are by the bridge tiles. Oh, or you
It's
can.
not really true, right? Because now Saikoya can just go back and take it. Now that Spotyus has avoided the heal.
There's all the trick. Ooh, why did that sword not hit the gate?
Because it hit the village and the other one captured.
Oh, right, yeah. Me being dumb. I was like, oh, could have just hit the gate, but no, I think he's gonna hit it with both swords next turn.
Right. Yeah, because the two swords, sword does like 17% to this gate on the flagstone. So two swords will guaranteed knock it out, even if you min-roll both.
Okay. And he's saving the bullet, so Saikoya, a fan of keeping the bullet, the 3rd bullet for the crit. And we'll see what Spotyus decides to go for.
Actually, interesting. Saikoya built on his commander front. He built a mage. I actually like this. I saw Spacefront do it in one of his games on open season. And the point of the mage is you can actually capture the side village with the mage. So the commander can, like normally the commander would have to capture the side village, and then if it was the mage was a sword, the sword would capture the one that's more to the center. But instead, now the commander can go towards the center, and the mage takes care of the side. So.
And we see Spotyus electing not to go for saving the 3rd bullet. So.
Yep. I mean, it makes sense if the plan is to like try to use the mage crit to free the rifle next turn, which I suspect it is.
Builds a knight.
It's knight. This knight is actually like Like normally, if you build the knight to the right of the barracks instead, the knight will be able to go up and like threaten like side villages, which the enemy, which Saikoya would capture. So this knight is not in position to do that.
I wonder if he's positioning it aggressively instead. So he's gonna go for the... Maybe even send it over to the opponent's stronghold and try and take it down.
Might also be trying to use the knight to break the rifle out. So now he has options. He can use the mage crit or a knight. Although if he was trying to use a knight, then it would have been better to position it to the right of the barracks so that he could crit instead. So yeah, this knight positioning is kind of weird to me. Feels a bit off.
Saikoya slightly ahead on income, but it's interesting, right? Because he's like given up a lot of ground on the map, and he's gone for back captures instead. I guess he's just gonna try and push forwards now.
Right. I do feel like this is pretty optimal when like instead of going for forward captures, which you can't defend that well, and you'll just feed the opponent group, you go for back captures first. And then later on, you can decide whether you want to go for the forward captures. So I feel like this is like less committal by Saikoya. And less committal means you have more flexibility later on to respond as the game, as the situation demands.
We'll see what Spotyus decides to go for. He may very well use the knight, like you were saying, to break this gate. Use the mage to
Right.
capture on the mountain. No, he's going to send the knight up.
Okay, so Spotyus is definitely going to be not ahead on income for the next few turns because he did
Ooh,
that.
but I like this positioning on the knight because it threatens to crit anything that hits the villages.
That's true. So it's mainly targeting like the mage at the top, right? Because now Saikoya can't capture and then like use the mage to like Saikoya can't get the decap and then use the mage to capture because the knight crit on the mage is like just too good of a trade.
I think he might be targeting Nuru with that though. Like Nuru would go for a decap to get groove, and the knight would just slam into her.
Yeah, that's also possible. I feel like it's less worthwhile though. I mean, it could be worthwhile if you had a good follow up. If you don't have a good follow up, it's actually like negative, or it's actually sort of a negative gold trade, I think, all things considered.
Okay, gets a dog. Are we gonna see a second knight come out?
I feel like Spotyus just wants to build. Oh, wow, he built a knight. Okay, I would have expected a sword to get this village over here, but I guess he's just going to use the sword behind there to get the village instead.
I mean, he's got the one that's chilling in the koi pond, so
That's true. Spotyus has good control over the center right now, but potentially that could change because Saikoya is going to start deploying the knight and the swords and the Nuru towards the center. Yeah, so Nuru goes for decapping the side. Oh, actually now the mage can capture it. Yeah, okay. So that's definitely safe then.
only I think there was actually a way of like positioning a lot of units to like if you put the sword that's in the koi pond, if you sent that to the right, so it was to the left of the 8 health blue village on the right hand side, that could have threatened to hit mage. He could have had his knight crash into Nuru and do a crit,
Right.
and then like had the dog and the rifle and everything else follow up to defend.
It's true. That would have been interesting. Um, but I feel like the way it is right now, Saikoya will just be very happy to like eat a night crit with Nuru, and then Saikoya will just heal up Nuru on like one of these villages, and then there's no follow up to that. So, and then he'll have gotten like a village. He flipped a village for that exchange, and he charged a bit of groove on the counter attack. This is classic Saikoya, I believe, because Saikoya just likes being aggressive with the commander, aggressive in a safe way, which is really good, and very willing to take damage on the commander as long as he doesn't die.
Although in some cases that does result in his commander dying. Ooh, the knight goes in for the crit.
Yep.
Don't know how good that roll was. Let's take a look.
So it looks like it was a low roll actually. That was close to a mid roll because the expected damage. Oh wait, no. Yeah, it's a low roll because on a road it would have been like about 45 expected damage. On the plains, that's you minus 10% from that, so it's about 40, 41 expected damage, and that was 37. So.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like just shy of a low roll, or just shy of like the min roll even.
Yep. But Spotyus gets the high roll on this village on the left. That was a 66 to 76%, and he got 70% or higher. I mean, that's not really a high roll, but there was a chance to fail there.
Blessed RNG, keeping him alive. He's just gonna send more of his stuff over to keep this knight alive. I don't think the knight. If Saikoya dedicated enough to kill the knight, those units would die in return. So.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good idea for Saikoya to continue this engage because Saikoya doesn't have enough stuff around this general area to maintain the engage, while Spotyus does. So I feel like that would not be worthwhile. But even if Saikoya like retreats Nuru, like you look at this exchange, both the knight and Nuru took like about equal damage, and Nuru's reinforcement will be cheaper because Nuru costs 500 gold. It's funny to say it that way, but commanders basically cost 500 gold.
Yeah, although it'll be around the same. It'll be
around the same, yeah. But Nuru also charged like a little bit of groove from the counter attack, so that could. So like once Saikoya steps back and like heals, and then after that Saikoya can just attack, and then on that after the attack and the passive charge at the end, he'll be at full groove. So Saikoya could have groove not this turn but next turn potentially.
Has to be careful though, because there are 2 dogs and a rifle nearby, so
Yep.
you do not want to eat a bunch of crits.
Saikoya actually built a dragon. Okay, yeah. I feel like if Saikoya... Oh, does he have enough money to heal Nuru now? Because he has to build like a couple swords, and I mean, you would assume that he would build a couple swords.
I mean, you could. I mean, honestly, like, if he just runs Nuru back and does a slight heal, and this might be optimal because it means the villagers are less likely to go down. Like,
that's true.
If he just runs back, heals a little, like, what is, like, Spotyus gonna do about that? Because you can put Nuru where she won't die, she won't be able to get crit by anything. And you know, there's like a 12 gold heal here, so like you can get a little bit of health back.
That's like maybe, what is it?
2% actually.
Yeah, it's 2 health. 2%.
I mean, that actually does make a difference, so.
It's true, it's true.
Ooh, especially if he runs it and hits the knight.
Oh wow, okay, this is incredibly daring, I want to say. I mean, it could, I mean, he doesn't need to follow up with Nuru. It could just be like isolated hitting the knight.
I wonder, I think if he was gonna do that, he should have run Nuru and healed off the 7 health village, or it's a 67% health village right now, and then crit the knight instead. Just like getting a bit more damage in there. Because, you know, a full health sword hitting a knight on a road, that's like 10% damage. Like a 60 gold difference, so.
20%. Oh yeah, I mean the difference in crit and non-crit would be like 10%.
Yeah, so doing 30 instead of 20. So yeah.
I mean this way makes sense if if Saikoya's intended follow-up is to kill the knight. Well, you can't kill the knight through. So probably just has to run back through now.
Yeah. Because that sword's dead.
Right.
Actually, one thing that it could mean is that, like, let's say... Oh, he goes for a reload. Okay, so he's not going to save the crit anymore. He's going to favor having extra shots. He's going to do the world's tiniest heal.
Okay, so it's time to start calculating lethal. So you can ping off the 6 HP sword with your rifle, and then you could heal the knight with one of the mages. So you would have dog, knight, and sword. I think it's not enough. The dog does 20, the sword does 15. Knight would do 30 if it was at full health, but it's at half health, and even if you heal it, it'll be at like 2/3. So it only do 20, so it's not enough. So Saikoya being very, very wise about exactly how far he can push the commander positioning here.
Yeah, and honestly, actually, no, that would have worked. Like, I was thinking if he'd done the crit, like maybe the knight could have suicided, but I don't think that was even an option.
Oh,
So
there's no point in suiciding. You don't even have enough units to make all use of all the attacking space that you have.
yeah, that's true. So yeah, you're completely right. He's gonna walk more units forward though. And I actually think, especially given what can counterattack that dog, that makes sense. Because now you can use the rifle to cover the dog. Yeah, he puts it in the forest. And I think you just walk the knight back, heal that up.
Yep. I would like to see maybe a second knight. Oh, actually, he doesn't do that. Ooh. Okay, tries to decap the village. Does decap the village. I'm not too sure about that. I feel like having the full health knight is more useful, but I do understand the sentiment of wanting to get ahead on eco.
Yeah.
Especially since, yeah.
Because, I mean, the rifle's covering all those units, so...
True, true.
Can't really... I think this is like a decent play, because you're getting like a small economy advantage, and the knight is going to just be like a bit of a nuisance where it is right now.
Oh, it actually uses a heal on the knight. Okay. So that's definitely not that great gold wise. It's about 40% efficient, but could be good for tempo. Especially since that knight can actually crit this village in the top right. Oh wow, Spotyus also being quite daring with the commander positioning. It actually makes me wonder if there's like some sort of surround here. There probably isn't because the rifle covers. Yeah, okay, there's definitely no surround now.
I did just realize he could actually shoot the dog with his rifle. Like the dog on the right hand side. Oh, Saikoya can't even, so...
Oh yeah, if you ever wanted expensive way to do 20% to a dog.
I mean, in theory... How much does spear do to the dog? 85. So, shooting the dog with the rifle would mean the spear could kill it. Obviously not the best idea because the rifle would then shoot the spear, but...
It's true. I feel like what Saikoya really wants to do this turn is like get some sort of attack in a neuro so he can charge proof, but it's probably not wise.
I don't think he can do it safely, especially
Yeah,
at
I
his
don't-
current health. So honestly, just run up to the mountain and heal from there.
that would be a very safe play. It would be what I would do, I think.
Oh, he's gonna hit the dog.
I think this is also like, I want to say classic Saikoya, because he always wants to be getting a little something on his turn. Doesn't like completely passing the turn, which is a good attitude to have. You always want to be pushing for something.
Goes for the heal.
Interesting. Okay, so he actually is going to charge proof this turn. Calculating lethal again, there is no lethal. So once again, very nice awareness of all the breakpoints on Saikoya's part. Although this rifle now has like some free hits on the mage and the spear. Then again, potentially if the rifle does attack this turn, Nuru can groove a dog and like kill it. Especially with dragon and knight also being able to hit it and potentially clear anything in front of that could be quite.
There's also lethal on the strongholds.
Ooh, yeah, you're right.
So
Because
we could see, and this is the play Ash was talking about, is if you look at the
Nuru
income,
Archer,
the archer, yeah, because you can go dragon, knight, and archer onto the stronghold.
nice. So it can be stopped if Spotyus sees it.
But even if he sees it, he has to dedicate to defending it.
Yeah,
And if he does, and I think if he does, he has to put units in front, like he has to put one of his knights has to go in front of the stronghold. Possibly putting like a dog to the left of it just to, you know, block the holes. But if he moves too much stuff to defend his stronghold, the dragon can then go and smash the villages on the left hand side. There's three really nice targets actually on this left hand side for, or two really nice targets I should say for Saikoya. So the dragon's
you
opening
mean
up.
for the dragon? You mean?
Well, the sword can take the 3 health village, and the
Right.
dragon could take the 6 health one.
Yep, that's what I was thinking as well.
How much do you? Now the spear, if it max rolled, it could take the village, but I don't think he would go for that.
Honestly, I would just use like a sword and a spear to decap this 60% village on the left. The spear by itself will be able to decap a freshly capped village, so you don't need to worry about Spotyus recapturing it. Then next turn you just capture it, and then the dragon can do something else this turn. It probably
Yeah.
wants to do something else.
It could get a free sword. Honestly, that's actually a pretty good option. Spotyus will have to move that sword out of the way.
Right, but this rifle positioning by Saikoya is actually like cutting off that sword's natural retreat path, so it would have to go down instead of going straight to the right.
Or it just walks straight into rifle fire.
You know, that's another thing. Like sometimes it's not worth using a rifle just to pick off a single sword. So it's another thing you have to be careful about on this map. Things to consider. Is it actually worthwhile to use the rifle in that?
Yeah, because I mean, there was a thing, like I played a game where a rifle shot my archer for free, and then actually killed it because I put it in rifle range again. But even though it was a blunder on my part, it did prevent the rifle from moving where it wanted to go. Like, the rifle was sitting in a kind of awkward place where it wasn't really covering, like, the good parts. Like, it was in the center as opposed to, like, on either of the flanks. So, yeah, there is a lot to be said about rifle positioning. And this feels like a bait from
It
Spotyus.
feels like he doesn't. At the moment, his comp is not going to prevent the stronghold lethal that we talked about.
Right.
So he might not see it.
He still has units to move. Like, he just has to move one dog to cover the left-hand side.
That's true. Yeah, you're right about that.
Got a bunch of units he can move this turn. But this is the thing that's really scary about Nuru, right? Is that
Ooh,
she
Spotyus
has
gets a dragon.
there's so many options of what she wants to go for, or what she can
Right.
go for, that sure, like, you're threatening the stronghold lethal with an archer that she could spawn, but she could just make anything else and threaten too.
Right. Spotyus skipping a build to heal up this knight.
Okay,
So,
skipping 2 builds actually.
Yes. Yeah, he skipped 2 builds to make the dragon and heal the knight.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah, now we see the stuff come into place.
right. Mm. Saikoya might actually just make a pike here to hit that 83% knight.
Wow.
Could not be-
Alright, Spot is dedicating a lot to the defending here. And now, I wonder if Nuru even uses Groove this turn. I feel like there's so much open area on the left hand side for like damage to come in that
Saikoya might actually try to like pick off this rifle with so what Saikoya could do is he could spawn a pike and then get pike crit on the dog.
on the
Yeah,
dog,
okay.
and then have a night charge.
I don't think so. You just use the pike, right? Doesn't that kill? Oh, he does use the knight. Okay.
I think the knight is a lot more consistent.
No, the pike would have definitely killed. I want to say.
Okay.
Let's see.
How much do you
Okay,
need
I
to-
guess there was a roll there. It would have been favored, but it was still a roll.
Yeah, the knight just a little bit stronger.
Right. So probably the second pike. Just going to crit the mage. Saikoya going to pick up the free sword. I feel like he is. Saikoya usually goes for free stuff if he sees it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's sitting right there. Like, I would go for it. Like, you can keep
Yeah.
your rifle safe. You've just killed your opponent's rifle. And this is a massive deal. Oh, and there is a flagstone tile, so the dragon can't, you know, wreck Nuru.
Right. I mean, obviously you wouldn't put Nuru there unless you knew with certainty that the dragon couldn't reach that particular road tower.
I mean, you say that, but that's literally a thing that's happened. I think 2 Saikoya in this tournament, so...
Like he put his commander on the road tower within range of a dragon. I'm okay, maybe not that exact thing, but I do understand what
Yeah,
you're
I
referring
think he actually has done that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible.
Everybody does it once. And then
Yeah.
you learn not to do it again, so...
Mine happened to be in the finals of in game 5 of the finals. That's all right.
I feel like... Okay, actually, I think that is sensible, like, keeping a wall in front of the rifle, but we could have seen, like, a dog and a sword come in and walled in front of Nuru.
Yeah. So it is possible for Spotyus to kill the rifle, but he would need to use vest. No, it's actually not possible. Never mind. Because that sword is on flex though, so can't even kill it without max rolling. I think Spotyus is just getting slowly played by Saikoya. It's not like really any big things, but it's just small advantages here and there that are like building up over time.
Yeah,
To
have you looked at the unit count actually?
oh man,
That is pretty
that is
substantial
quite a
lead.
big difference.
Of course, it's now Spotyus' turn to, you know, attack back, and a lot of that unit count is swords. It's like, oh yeah.
So it is definitely Spotyus' turn to. Um, I mean, he can kill a few units. He can make a few more units. But I feel like Spotyus has just this tendency to fall massively behind in unit count because he doesn't really prioritize air units that much. And Saikoya, on the other hand, loves his balloons. Although we haven't seen any of that this game.
Yeah, there's no transports, which is like an interesting thing to see. But
Very interesting.
okay, Spotyus is gonna do what he can. He's gonna clear the units that were aggressive.
I would have actually liked to have seen like a sword plus a knight crit take out the pike on the right, and then the mage could, severely damage this pike on the left. Guess Spotyus has a different idea.
Ooh, the pike lives.
It lives. That's part of why I wanted the mage to hit it instead.
Yeah, I think there was like a more optimal way of doing that. Like you're suggesting.
Yeah, I mean we can't fault these players too much. It's one thing to be sitting here and saying all that, but it's another thing to like be playing the game and having a lot of things to think about and being under time pressure. Although both players do have like a fairly healthy bank of time at the
Yeah,
moment.
although we're only 8 turns into the game, so like you do want to have a healthy bank of time at the turn 8 mark.
It's true. Right. So I feel like outside of the opening like 3 or 4 turns, which are basically blitzed out, the 4 turns after that have each taken like maybe 3 or 4 minutes each for Spotyus. And Saikoya has been moving a little bit more quickly than that. So I think Saikoya is sitting at maybe 35 minutes now, around that mark.
And something we haven't really spoken much about during the top 8 is like 3 of the players that made it to top 8 were playing on Switch, and Spotyus is one of them. And I do think that does come into play a little bit with things like the early turns where you're just like going through the motions. You do lose like a good 30-40 seconds on your early turns because of like playing with console controls.
Wait, what's the difference?
Well, if you think about like playing everything with a PC with a mouse, like it's a lot quicker to select things and move them compared to moving them with like a controller pad input.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. So Spotyus almost on his way to full groove. He's not gonna get it this turn, but next turn definitely. At the end of next turn.
Yeah, which come out. I wonder if we'll see double dog by.
I do think Spotyus needs swords. If you look at the right side, there's like he has only one sword. Spotyus has a single sword. It's not enough to capture villages. It's at 3 health also, 31%. Okay, Spotyus moves his second knight to crit position of the first knight, so it's relatively safer from being attacked by Nuru, which is something I feel like Saikoya is always trying to do. Like Saikoya could get the attack on that knight from the left, and that would be a pretty safe because it's blocked off on one side by the village. Oh, okay, so Saikoya. Oh, the witch can't hit the dragon. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh yeah, because all the flagstone.
Right, so maybe I mean, it's hard to say. Maybe you should have built it on the right instead, because like the dragon was on the left.
I wonder if like could a sword crit come in and kill this dog?
Yes.
So yeah, he can
that
open
would,
up a path to hit the dragon with a mage.
that would be guaranteed. Oh, that would be killing that dragon would be so bad for Spotyus. I think that's basically game if Saikoya. If Saikoya can kill this knight and like severely damage that dragon this turn, I feel like it's just gonna be game over. And of course and Vesper doesn't have groove yet, so Spotyus can't even threaten anything that serious on his next turn.
So it gets the sword crit this time.
Yep.
There was one earlier, but didn't go for it, and this time sword crit on a knight is very gold efficient.
Yeah, it is. Oh, what? Excuse me, Nuru? Nuru, are you drunk?
Okay. I guess like favoring going for the crit on the mage.
I don't really like this, if I'm being honest. How are you gonna... How is he going... Okay, I guess he could use the dog to kill the 7 HP dog. Oh, What?
I don't know what's going on here.
I feel like Nuru's just dead. Yeah, definitely dead. Okay, well, I say that, but... Okay, well, there's Hex, and there's 3 suicides, and there's a dragon.
I mean, if the mage comes to the left... oh, actually, no, yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, there's like... Did Saikoya just absolutely bungle this? I think he did.
Oh, man. Maybe he wants to keep it interesting, you know, go to a game 3.
But like, this was like one of the most won games I've ever seen.
Well, it happens. I don't really have the right to criticize him after I did the same thing, so...
Yeah, there's Witch Hex and...
Witch Hex and 3 suicides. I didn't just do it once, I did it like twice. So that's like doubly bad. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be lethal like almost all the time.
Yeah, there's like literally nothing that...
Okay, hold on. We actually have to be a bit... I mean, okay, so I think the guaranteed way to do it is you suicide everything into the dog instead to clear the knight crit path. Then suicide everything into the dog, then you hex, use the knight to clear, and then your dragon and knight can kill Nuru. That's probably the
guaranteed... you can use the spear to clear the dog, yeah. But
so like
honestly, I genuinely think if you just throw the dog, the sword, and the mage at Nuru, and then like hex plus dragon would absolutely do it.
Not necessarily, I feel, because the mage will do like 5%. The sword will do like 5% as well. The dog, it's like 1%. And your hex is 10%. Yeah, okay.
Right, he's
so
gonna...
guaranteed way.
Yeah. And we are on a stream delay for people watching, so... Yeah, this is... I mean, you could even throw the dog into Nuru now.
But Spotyus, absolutely guaranteed way, and yeah. Well, this is why you don't surrender early, kids. You can always hope that your opponent throws the game.
Yep. Doesn't even need the hex. Could just...
Doesn't need the hex. Oh, GG.
And...
well,
in what might be the worst positioning of a commander I've ever seen, Spotyus takes it over Saikoya.
Well played to Spotyus for spotting that.
Indeed. I mean, that is painful to watch, though. Like, when you have a lead painful. That big, you just walk your commander away, honestly.
It's a valuable lesson. Some people need to learn it more than once.
Yeah. But we're gonna maybe go into a game 3. I guess we'll see. But for now, we're gonna go back to the screen.